resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Heard live on News Talk 99.5 WRNO and the iHeartRadio app. Here are your hosts, Brian Held and D. Squared.
Greetings, citizens of the North American Empire. This is your host, D Squared, with
Brian Held.
And this is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Brian, how in the Hades are you?
I am fantastic, man. And hey, look, we have some debts of gratitude to hand out real quick. First off, I'd like to thank Suzanne from GoDaddy, who helped us fix TWIGradio.com because it was down earlier this week.
What the hell?
Yeah. It was kind of squirrely, and there was some stuff in the background that was messed up, but she did a great job and got us all hooked up. So
good job for her and us.
And the reason that I was messing around with it is because I was updating it. There's some updates out there.
Wow. Can we still get our new shirts there, too?
You can absolutely get our shirts there, yes.
Yes. All right. And who else do we need to thank?
We need to thank the folks at the St. Tammany Collectors Con. We were there yesterday. It was a great event. We had a really good time. Got to hang out with a lot of folks. We premiered the newest trailer for Hopeless, a Star Wars story that has the HD and the color correction and even some special effects. Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's good stuff. So, we had a great time. So, we're looking forward to the next event. It should be in about 6 months. So,
all right. Well, cool. Yeah, no, I had a good time. Me and Dean roamed around in the dealer's room, and they actually had elbow room and space. It was a good time, man. I had a blast.
Cool. All right.
So let's lay out the show real quick. As always, we'll open up with top nerd news, and then we'll have our boy Skungy with his pick of the week. And then we have Mr. Tommy Hancock from ProSe Press joining us. And as always, we'll close out the show like we always do. Brian, how's that?
With This Week in Geek History.
All right, are you ready to do top nerd news?
Absolutely.
And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by the Viridian Tea Company. Find them on Etsy. And now, your top nerd news stories. You know, hearing that spot reminds me, we're going to be in Memphis next week hanging out with Kimberly Richardson.
We are. We're going to be at the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, and Cyber Ernie's coming with us. And
I know, now that he's like in state, he can like hang out with us again.
I know, it's great. Yeah. So thanks to Ernie and his partner Kathy for helping us yesterday. That was great. And we'll be hanging out with them all weekend. So hey, I was shocked when I got in the studio.
What? You were shocked by what? Pray tell.
You told me that Disney has lifted their press ban.
Yes, actually, and here's Michelle Polino from Fox News to tell us more.
Disney is now backing off the ban against the LA Times after a threatened boycott of their films. The company placed a ban on reporters getting Disney screeners after a story was written by a reporter questioning their business dealings with Anaheim, California, home to Disneyland Park. The TCA joined 4 film critics associations. Filmmaker Ava DuVernay, who has a Disney film opening later in 2018, and others stating they were boycotting unless Disney lifts the ban. Disney issued a statement saying, "We've agreed to restore access to advanced screenings for their film critics." Michelle Polino, Fox News.
I didn't hear an "I'm sorry" in there either.
Yeah, well, I love Disney. I love all the properties that they have, right. Marvel and all that good stuff. But man, they really concern me, man.
Well, look, it was just last year or so that they stopped doing advanced screenings here in New Orleans. I mean, They stopped doing advanced screenings in most of the I don't want to say secondary markets, but I mean basically the tertiary markets. You know, that if it's not big bucks markets, they're not screening it. You know, they're like, screw you. It's a Disney product or it's a Star Wars flick. We know we don't need your thumbs up or thumbs down to get people to go out and see them.
Right? Yeah. No. But they're definitely using some strong arm tactics. I think that was probably just testing the waters. Right,
see what they could get away with.
Exactly, but they're strong arming theaters with The Last Jedi.
Yeah, you were telling me about this. I mean, that's some pretty FCC regulated bleep words. I mean, they're really being buttholes.
Well, and so what they're asking theaters to do is screen The Last Jedi on the largest screens that they have for a 4-week run with a 65% take on ticket sales.
Sweet Jesus! So you don't even get half. You get
No. Now the industry standard is usually 55 to 60% of ticket sales goes to the studio.
Okay.
Right. So this is an extra 5%. But the worst part is that if they deem that you've broken the contract, that you've not honored your deal, it's going to be 70%. Right, they're going to add it.
Holy crap!
Right, and for smaller theaters, with few screens or even single screen theaters, it's not viable for these guys to even air this.
Like movie taverns up on the North Shore. How many screens do they have? Like 5 or 6, maybe?
I don't know, but it's a smaller theater. It's not like the AMC Palace 20 or something like that. So I mean that's really a tough deal for small and mid-sized theater owners to take that big of a chunk.
And so they can just do this because they're the House of the Mouse?
They are the Mickey Mouse empire. Yes, absolutely.
Wow, man. We really are. We're approaching Shadowrun territory here.
Dude, I think about it all the time.
The mega corporations.
Yeah.
So, hey, look, apparently, the little man can still strike back, where they're they stuck it to the man, and so they lifted the ban. So, I mean, maybe it's not all doom and gloom as we think.
Maybe not. So, I found some audio recently on Hollywood Babylon, right, with Kevin Smith, and it's kind of amusing because we're always talking about reboots all the time. You want to fire that up?
Yep.
Submitted for your approval. An industry completely devoid of any original ideas. So every old TV series and every old movie must be rebooted, remade, and sequelized. We live in the unartistic zone. All right, that's enough of that. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
Reboots? Don't talk to me about reboots.
Right. And that's, I'm trying to get the guy's name, Kevin, I can't pull it up fast enough, but his co-host for Hollywood Babylon, that was their most recent episode.
Yeah.
But, man, so the thing is how do we get out of this cycle, right? And
it beats me.
Well, no, it's clear, right?
Well, I mean, we've talked about it before on the show, where we've got all these Indiegogo campaigns, like our boy Brendan with X-Crawl the movie, just things like that. If you want new stuff, you can't wait for Hollywood.
No, you absolutely can't. But here's the thing: is Netflix is coming out with a comic book that is kind of like Harry Potter and Goodfellas.
I don't know. That doesn't sound right.
Well, I think about the Magicians that's on Sci-Fi, right?
Go get your wand shine box. Go get your shine box.
But this property is called The Magic Order. They're going to do 6 issues in this first volume that's going to be releasing pretty soon, spring of 2018. And if it does well, they're likely going to turn it into a feature series, right? Either, a TV show or a movie or whatever. But guys, go support this type of stuff in order to get new properties out there,
I just came to me just now while you were talking about it. So, do you think when they're making some of these comic books, if that's going to be something like they're doing, do you think at the back of their mind they're like, all right, how do we translate this to the screen? Do you think that it inhibits their writing in any sort of way where it's like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't make it so grandiose because that's going to cost us a little more scratch to make it?
Well, I think that pretty much every author out there has at some point part of their vision to get it to the next level, to get it as a feature or whatever. I mean, that's a question that the creatives need to be asking themselves, right? If I write this story, how do I turn it into a TV or a movie or whatever? It's what happened with Jim Butcher in the Dresden Files, where early on he sold his film rights, which is why we got that one season on Sci-Fi was kind of, it was so-so. But, that's the thing, is that stuff exists out there, and they should be thinking about it. And honestly, all the books that we review for the show, when we're reading them, like for me, I'm looking at this like, is this a Netflix series? Like, can I see it in my mind that way? And yeah, absolutely. But, we always talk about it. There's so much good content out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that they don't want to try to track it down somehow because, I mean, it's easier just to rewarm the same old milquetoast crap.
It is, because they want that guaranteed return on investment.
But what about this new twist on TV that you're talking about?
So Steven Soderbergh has a new app. It's called Mosaic. It's currently available for iOS devices. So, point for you, Dave. But essentially, if you guys remember the old Choose Your Own Adventure or Time Machine books,
greatest books ever.
Yeah, when we were kids,
awesome.
This is essentially that for viewing, right?
Okay.
On your smartphone, and it's taking this narrative and breaking it into the different characters. Like, you can follow a particular character through the whole story, or you can break it off. It's
right.
You really can't do that on the traditional television that we're used to, right?
No, right.
And it allows for a new way to tell a story. If you're watching a show and you want to spend more time with this one character, like, hey, they didn't really delve into them very much. Okay. You can do that with this.
Really?
Deal. Yeah, because they have threads of the narrative that spend time with each character that will eventually. So if you're obsessive about it, you're
right.
Like you are a collector, right? You can watch the entire thing. You can see all the threads from the beginning to the end of the story.
That's hurting my head a bit. So, I mean, but like let's say I just choose one of the secondary characters, am I still going to get the whole meat of the plot? Or does it follow this character and only their tangential view of the plot? Or how the hell does that work?
Well, I mean, it does follow the whole plot, but you're getting it from the perspective of that character, which is something they built into the filming, where they wouldn't reveal the entire script to that actor who's the main.
Bat stuff crazy,
but it's cool, right? Because you can watch it and get beginning to end and go through in one direction, or you can really delve into the whole deal.
Yeah, right.
And it's kind of like the dime store pulp novels, right? You can chew a little bit at a time, right? Or take it all at once. So there you go.
All right, well, I forgot to put in the Batman by Gaslight, but basically Batman versus Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
And insert audio here. It's just the only thing I like about it is that they got Catwoman in it.
Yeah.
But she's wearing a Victorian dress, and so you get to see some ankle, Brian. You get to see some sweet ankle action.
And this is a new animated series, right?
Yeah, it's from the Elseworld stuff. It's basically it wasn't DC canon. It was stuff that was taken, like, putting Batman in Victorian Gotham, so it's something that never existed. So It's an Elseworld property, and they did some other stuff like that. But it's coming out on just, the DC cartoon universe, which is actually one of the best crap they got.
Well, and honestly, and I'll give it to you again here, that DC really owns the animated space. They really do a good job.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But see, now that your condescending compliment, while much appreciated, Feige says you can just sit on it, Brian. That's what he said. You're just being a child.
Well, you're right. Kevin Feige has come out and says,
Wait, let me put a timestamp on that. You just said I'm right. I got to put this in the computer. All right, I got it.
Kevin Feige has said that, this feud between DC and Marvel fans is completely ridiculous, that everybody just needs to cut it out. And it kind of harkens back in the day with Stan Lee and those guys, and the distinguished competition, right, of DC.
Right.
I mean, it was supposed to be a fun feud that they were trying to get going, but it kind of,
people love to draw lines.
Well,
it just happens.
Well, I mean,
somehow I got cast into the role of the DC fanboy.
Well, but you like your sports ball teams, right?
I do. I love my sports ball teams.
You root after the Saints, right? They're better than the
Huzzah!
Dallas Cowboys, right?
To the Saints of New Orleans. Jackass.
So, but I mean, ultimately, I think we could cap this off, Dave. If you would just agree that I'm right and Marvel's better.
No, I have it on tape of you saying you're right. I'm going to go to sleep with that playing on loop in my ears tonight. Thanks,
well, the best news that I think I've gotten all day is that it's official. The Universal's Dark Universe is dead.
Oh, I know, man. Look, this was a travesty from right out the gate. It was filled with missteps and misfires. No, this really isn't the opening to our Dark Universe. And then they have this great picture of, Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp, your boy from Gladiator, who is it? Whatever the hell his name is, and some other guy who's like really super famous. And they just crapped the bed. I mean, they gave us the same warmed over crap. And we're like, you're going to like it. And nobody liked it.
Well,
and so now, instead of going to the well I don't know where the hell they went. I'm just not sure what well they went to, but it was poisoned.
Well, and, look, movie-going audiences voted with the most powerful tool they had, their wallet.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's what we need more of. Support awesome projects.
Yeah, I think they were really trying to look for what's the best way we can make the most money. We're going to put all these great celebrities in the same stuff that it's comforting. You don't have to think. Just go enjoy the movie, and nobody enjoyed the damn movie. So now it's dead, though. So my dreams of seeing the great monster movies make some sort of a comeback is dead too, Brian. A little piece of me died today. I hope you're happy.
Well, maybe there's still a way that maybe in the future they'll kind of reconstitute and put a better spin and build these stories the way they should be, and we'll see it sometime soon.
They could ask some non-Hollywood hack to write it.
There you go.
That'd be great.
Maybe you?
No.
All right, guys, stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to be talking to Skungy and his Pick of the Week. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com/shop and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
The other guy who's
Black
on...
Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktitans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to The Week in Geek. Don't forget, you can listen to previous episodes on the iHeartRadio app at The Week in Geek Radio Show. Here are your hosts, D Squared and Brian Held.
Welcome back. This is The Week in Geek. I'm your host, D Squared with...
Brian Held.
Now, Brian, it's the worst part of the show.
What?
Well, you know, we got to talk to that guy who does stuff like video games and stuff.
What? Skungy's cool. We like Skungy.
Fine.
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
Skungy's Pick of the Week is brought to you by GameStop and ThinkGeek.com.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
He might be an idiot savant.
Skungy, what's shaking bacon?
Not a lot, and I would like to thank Mr. Brian Held because I don't think the words scungy and cool have been used in the same sentence ever before.
Ever before.
Well, there you go, Skungy. I like you. I appreciate you being here.
He threw you a bone.
Yay!
All right, speaking of bones, all right, what do you got for us today?
Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus.
All right, so I I'm a terrible consumer and a customer. I pre-ordered and put my $5 on the barrelhead for Wolfenstein, and I still have yet to go get it. I even got my little doll. I mean, action figure. My action figure. I need to get over there.
Fully posable action figure with Kung Fu grip.
Kung Fu grip.
All right.
Absolutely. Actually, the action figure looks really cool. It looks like one of those old school G.I. Joes, like from the 1960s.
That's
G.I.
one of the
Joe.
best things about the series is just like the tongue-in-cheek commercials and stuff that they have in there, all the propaganda posters in the background when you're playing the game, because it's so creepy that it could have been real.
Right.
You know, I mean, if they'd have thrown us off the beach in Normandy, we'd have been ooze-grade up the Ut Bay.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one of the coolest things about it. This game especially has a great balance, because when you think about it, you're playing a game about Nazis who have taken over the United States of America, and it is 1961. It's a very serious story.
Yeah,
Yet
absolutely.
They balance it so well between some really disturbing parts in this game. There are sometimes you're like, wow, this is really dark and twisted. And then the next minute you're laughing and crying because it's so funny at different parts. So they do a great balance.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And nothing actually warms my black heart more than when one of the Americanized Nazis gets it in the back of the head. That's good stuff. When they come over here and they're like, oh, yeah, I'll join your little party. And, the Americans, and it's good stuff.
Nice.
Very cathartic for me.
You have them walking down the street, like you have, like, Ku Klux Klan members walking down the street, talking to Nazis, going like, hey, Bob, how are you?
That
I'm
is
doing
really
fine,
messed
Jim.
up. Jesus.
So,
but there's so much fun in it because it does do, like you say, that tongue in cheek. And this one, the characters, like everybody who has a role in this plays it so well, and it's so well written for those actors that you have a genuine connection with all the different characters in the game. It's not like I don't care about this guy one way or another.
The cut scenes for those are always very good. It's like watching a movie.
So, Skungy, you're saying that this is like a single-player narrative thing that you're doing?
Absolutely. Wolfenstein's mainly been like that. It's always been a narrative where, and this one picks up literally exactly where the first one left, the New Order. Where the first one ended, this one picks up directly from that.
Wait, where the hell did the first one end? I don't remember.
You were in a castle, and he was like, just blow up the castle with me in it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You had to kill the doctor or whatever, huh?
Yeah, well, General Angle is now back in this one, and I'm telling you, she is the most sadistic yet intriguing character to watch since the guy from Far Cry 3. It's really like every time she's on screen, you're just like glued to the seat going, I know this is wrong, but she's so entertaining.
Interesting. Yeah. Cool. Well, is there a multiplayer element to it?
There is not. It's single player.
Yes.
Okay.
Which that's the thing about it. It's a first-person shooter, and I'm going to tell you, the game is.
Can you imagine how that conversation would go, though, Brian, when you're playing? It's like, okay, who wants to play the Nazis today?
Yay!
Well, I mean, I've played the original Call of Duty 1 and 2.
Well, come on, but they're nastier in this world.
They're all mystical.
You feel dirty touching them.
They have like better technology and whatnot. It's very like steampunkish kind of thing. It's like the technology is futuristic yet retro.
Yeah.
All right. So a little bit like maybe Fallout?
Kind of a little bit like that. It's got that kind of feel with some of the
the cars.
Almost
the cars look very like Falloutish.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Where did this conversation go? Let's talk about gameplay.
Well, like I said, it's a first-person shooter, and man, you've got a couple of different options on the difficulty. It doesn't matter. This game is actually hard.
Yeah, right.
You die a lot. I mean, there are situations where, I've said it before, I'm not really that good at video games. I play them all the time, but I'm not good at them. There was one area, it took me a half an hour just to get through one fight because I kept dying over and over again because you have limited health. And it's a great challenge. Now, one of the problems is that sometimes when you're trying to jump over stuff, you sometimes get stuck. It doesn't know when it wants to jump over stuff, and that can be a little annoying, but it's just a small annoyance. It's challenging. So you're like, all right, I died this time because of this. I'm going to do this next time. So you learn from it. There are great weapon upgrades with it. And weapon upgrades are not, they're not infinite. You're going to have to make some choices. Do I want my, shotgun to, have more damage or more ammo or less recoil or stuff like that?
Oh, wait, they got upgrades now?
Yeah, all your weapons now, you can upgrade all your weapons, but you have to get an upgrade pack. So, like, for instance, which I highly suggest, when you get an upgrade pack, put a silencer on your pistol, because there are some stealth mode in it. You can do a stealth mode to try to take out some of the Nazi commanders to stop them from calling in reinforcements. Now, you don't have to do it that way. You can literally just go in guns blazing and, kill everybody. But if you want to play that stealth mode, it's really, beneficial to get, like, a silencer. And you get bonuses from taking them out, less enemies you have to fight, and different upgrades, like, depending on how you take them out. It gives you a counter, like, hey, I've had so many headshots. You get a perk. Hey, I've killed so many people with axes. You get a perk.
So, Skungy, I got to ask, you mentioned these upgrade packs for the weaponry. Is that like a DLC or a microtransaction model, or is it through gameplay?
No. It's stuff that you find in the level.
Okay, all right.
So it benefits from you to kind of go off the beaten path sometimes. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward point A to point B kind of game. Yeah. But there are sometimes, look, here's a room over here. Let me go explore it, and maybe I'll find some ammo or an upgrade pack.
That was back in the old Wolfenstein. They always had those secret rooms that had, the guns or like golden chalices or whatever. And I think the first game, correct me if I'm wrong, Skungy, they had like, money and weapons and stuff, but they also had like story parts too. Weren't you able to like put?
Yes, they have this with it as well. You can find like the diaries or letters and stuff like that, which just adds to
the backstory. Yeah, right.
Of everything, which is like, oh, look, you're reading the diary on this person, and this is what happened here, or why are they occupying this particular area?
I get really OCD about completionism.
I know.
Completing a whole level, man.
Great, because all of this stuff just adds to the rich story that is in this game. And it's also got a level in New Orleans.
What?
Yeah, there's like New Orleans has turned into a ghetto.
What do you mean? Has turned
like
into...
as in in the German ghettos and whatnot.
Oh, sure, boy, I almost cursed.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Wow,
well, that sucks.
That's terrible.
well, damn it.
Yeah.
All right. So, price and platform, because we're getting close to a break, buddy.
All right, it is going to be $59.99, and it's for PlayStation. It's PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the dirty PC. And there's also a season pass available, but the season pass is all single player. It's more story.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's nifty.
That's not bad. All right, so a funny thing I learned about GameStop and Think Geek is that your Think Geek gift cards work for GameStop too.
Nice.
Yes, they do. They all work for. Work for both.
I'm using my Christmas gifts from last year to buy Wolfenstein. I just haven't gotten over there. All right, Skungy, don't give away my doll. I mean, my action figure.
So,
no, sir, I didn't see you playing with your dolls again.
Real quick, I'm guessing we're going to have Skungy start preparing some Christmas buying ideas pretty soon, right?
Oh, God, yeah, we're getting close. It's already Thanksgiving soon, too.
Yeah, so maybe...
I've got plenty of ideas already.
All right, so maybe first week of December we'll do that Christmas buying guide.
Fabu.
Fantastic.
Fabu. Listen... You know what? You were on the good list. Now you're on the naughty list. Guess what? You're fired.
Bye-bye.
Fabu.
Love you, Skungy.
God, no, I already turned off his mic.
All right, guys, stay tuned. When we get back from these short commercial messages, we'll have Mr. Tommy Hancock from ProSe Press. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com/shop and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktitans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
Welcome back to The Week in Geek. Don't forget, you can listen to previous episodes on the iHeartRadio app at The Week in Geek Radio Show. Here are your hosts, D Squared and Brian Held.
Welcome back. This is The Week in Geek. I'm your host, D Squared, with
Brian Held.
Now, Brian Held, we have a very special guest on the line. Why don't you tell everybody who it is?
Well, on the line, we have Mr. Tommy Hancock. He is the editor-in-chief over at ProSe Press. Tommy, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Fantastic, sir. So, I know that ProSe Press focuses a lot on pulp, but what is ProSe Press?
ProSe Press is a publishing company out of Arkansas, and I say out of Arkansas, we're based in Arkansas, but we publish over 200 authors from around the world. We have right now sitting at about 380 books or so. We've been around for about 5 years, and yes, we focus on what we market and call new pulp, but really what that is essentially genre fiction. It is fast-paced, typically action-adventure type stuff. If you read Westerns, we publish Westerns. If you read science fiction, we publish science fiction. Superheroes, you name it, there's not a genre we probably don't cover. The pulp refers more to both the length of our works. We tend to print shorter novels than the big doorstopper Harry Potter books, and it also refers to the style. Most of our stuff is very fast-paced, focused on the plot with a lot of over-the-top characters. So that's kind of what we do. But you name a genre, and we've even made a few of our own up. So that's what we do.
So is this something that folks will be familiar, like the dime store type novels from the 40s and 50s?
It is very similar to that. Basically, just to give a real quick overview. Pulp fiction became really popular. It started in the 19th century, became really popular in the 30s and 40s because what they were doing is they were printing stories on really cheap paper, pulp paper, and they were selling it really cheaply, and anybody could buy it. It wasn't like a big slick magazine like the Saturday Evening Post where only the upper crust were buying it. This was something the guy coming home from the factory could pick up, or the housewife buying apples could pick up for a dime or 15 cents. What they were doing is they were paying authors next to nothing to write these fantastic stories of all kinds. And famous authors, everybody from Dashiell Hammett to John Jakes to Louis L'Amour wrote in the pulp magazines. But yeah, so it's very similar to that. The pulps ended in the mid-50s, basically. But the style, really, it went from being a medium to being a style, a form of writing. And the style didn't go away. It has hung around and clung around. In the last 15 years or so, there's been this kind of movement toward pulp again. And our branch of it, we call the New Pulp Movement. So it's just applying that style to stories that are set in any time period, the 1940s, the Old West, the future, whatever. But it's really more about how it's written along with what is written.
Now, we're visiting with Tommy Hancock of ProSe Press. Now, Tommy, at every convention, your tables always stand out because all the covers and the artwork there. I mean, it really smacks of the pulp genre. And who does the artwork too?
I have, I mentioned I have about 200 authors. We have, over the years, we have accessed probably about 25 different artists. Right now, I have access to probably about 12 that we use. We keep 10 to 12 that we kind of have working on projects. We tend to work projects several months, even to a year in advance. So, several of our artists include Jeffrey Hayes, George Sellis. We've had books done by Norm Grayfogle of Batman comic fame. We've had all sorts of artists, brand new and longtime artists.
Yeah, I mean, it just really the whole table just pops because I mean all the artwork it really brings you back in time to the whole pulp era.
Well, kind of the way we set up our table, and this is really the first time I've ever told anybody this, but kind of the concept behind our table is to kind of set it up like an old newsstand. It's why typically we have two large black shelves that we tend to set up too, that basically are kind of our hearkening back to walking up and picking it up off the newsstand, the kiosk shelf. So yeah, it's kind of set up intentionally that way because if nothing else, you may not buy a book, but as you're walking by our table, you're going to stop. You're going to look.
Absolutely.
Nice. So one of the big things that you have going on right now is your thriller of the week. Tell our listeners about this.
Well, this is something brand new we've started. We've experimented with a couple of different forms of doing this, but this is brand new. It just kicked off on Monday, and the best way to describe it is back when I was a kid, NBC did this thing where they would have what they called the mystery movie of the week, and each week it would be a 2-hour movie that was made for TV that focused on a character, and then the next week there would be another one, and they would rotate out monthly. So if Columbo was the movie of the week the first weekend of January, he was the movie of the week the first weekend in February. And they would just have these four titles that would rotate out. And other networks, have copied this over the years. So what we did is we took that concept and we said, okay, look, we're not doing TV, but what if we set up a whole publishing arm, a whole book arm, that was set up like a TV station, that produced content on a weekly basis, that produced content on a season basis. Comic books have gone to that. Comic books, a lot of the comic book companies do seasons now. What if we did that with fiction? And I kind of just gravitated to this idea of having basically our own movie of the week, but it's an ebook. And what it's called, it's ProSe Thriller of the Week. And there are 4 series in season 1. Season 1 will cover 6 months. And basically, just like I said, on every Monday, starting this past Monday, every Monday a new episode comes out. And this past Monday, Harridan, which is basically our version of Kolchak, except in Memphis and except it's a woman, debuted. John A. McCauley was the author on the first one. And that's the other thing. We've got a different author each time. I created all the concepts. All the concepts are mine. But we brought in a different author, just like TV shows do. We brought in a different author for each episode. So Harridan debuted this week. Next week will be The Out of Timers, which is basically a concept of there are 3 people for different reasons who are essentially, their time is up, they're dying. But until they die, they're going to go on adventures to save the world.
Nice.
And then the next one is AKA The Sinner. And the easiest way to describe it, if you're familiar with The Saint, it's kind of like the Saint character who is kind of this Robin Hood of crime, except he doesn't really commit crimes anymore. Well, the Sinner is a good guy too, but he's kind of paying his penance, and he'll commit crimes to do the right thing. And then the last one is called Murder, Arkansas, and it's set in a small town that I sort of kind of maybe made up in Arkansas. And it's basically a backwoods redneck crime noir thing.
Redneck noir?
Redneck noir. You heard it here first, Dave.
That's great.
I mean, down to the fact that the logo for the story is a green sign with a white outline, like any small town sign, that says the name of it says Murder, Arkansas, except it's got bullet holes in it.
Nice.
So it looks like most of the population signs in Arkansas.
And like you mentioned, these are ebooks, right? So I'm guessing Amazon Kindle is the easiest way to get those.
Amazon Kindle right now is the only way to get those, and the reason is we've got them put up on Kindle Unlimited, which, for those that don't know, if you are a member of Kindle Unlimited, you get like 1 million books for free, and you actually just go in and read them. And every time you read a page of a book that's on Unlimited, they get money for it.
Nice.
So even if you don't finish the book, if you've read 2 pages, they get paid for 2 pages.
Hell yeah.
And that's, it's not a bad deal. So, yeah, it's set up on Amazon. Each episode is $1.49 a piece. Like I said, Harridan just debuted on Monday. Right now, Harridan is number 12 bestseller in the 1 Hour Reads bestseller list for Amazon.
That's fantastic.
It's a short story bestseller list, and we're number 12. When you look your company's book up, or actually a concept that you created, and the other names on the list around on the screen around it are like Michael Connolly and Preston and Child and Charlene Harris, that's kind of a weird feeling.
Oh, I bet.
Now, one more question. We're getting close to a break here. Now, where do people buy the books? And one of your best sellers, too, Black Pulp. I really got hooked into that book. Where do our listeners get these books from you?
If you want to get them, everything we have is on Amazon. You can look it up by ProSe Press or ProSe Productions. Also, our website, www.prose-press.com. It's prose-press.com. They're all available there. And Black Pulp, it's funny you mention that because Black Pulp 2 will be out in early December.
Nice.
Look at that, Dave.
See, I'm a prophet.
Yeah.
You are a prophet. Hopefully we'll make a profit.
He's here all week, folks. Try the veal.
Yeah, but no, Black Pulp 2, Black Pulp is by far our bestseller. It's one of the best books I think that not only have we ever put together, but it's one of the best books I believe put together in the last 10 to 15 years.
That first story hooked me in, man.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the Joe Lansdale story.
Yeah.
With the Cadillac and the fingers and all of that.
Yep.
Yeah. That collection has a Gary Phillips, an author, came to me and said, "Hey, we should do pulp stories, classic type pulp stories, but we should do something that a lot of people haven't done, and they should feature African or African American lead characters." We brought in a mix of writers, all different ethnicities, and writers from hacks like me. I did a story that basically puts John Henry on Mars, and to people like Joe Lansdale and even Walter Mosley. Walter Mosley, the guy behind the Easy Rollins series, one of the most prolific writers today, wrote our introduction for the book. So, no, it's something I'm really proud of. And like I said, Black Pulp 2 will be out in early December.
Fantastic. Well, Tommy, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us tonight. Hang on for a second. Guys, if you want more from Tommy and ProSe Press, that's prose-press.com. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktieTans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in the back of your closet. What happened to us? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Okay, maybe I never really fit you right, but I got a lot more Sunday fun days left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
In a New Orleans that never was and never will be, airships float high above the city while platoons of clockwork automatons patrol the streets below. In Storyville, pirates, streetwalkers, gamblers, and thieves prowl back alleys in search of their next mark. New Orleans by Gaslight, the premier anthology of locally written and locally produced steampunk poetry and fiction, all set in Victorian New Orleans. Buy it now, available in both paperback and Kindle versions at Amazon.com. New Orleans by Gaslight.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com/shop and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Hello, this is Chris Walken. If you've got a hankering for more cowbell, you can get it on The Week in Geek. Come on.
Welcome back. This is The Week in Geek. I'm your host, D Squared, with
Brian Held.
Brian Held. All right, buddy, we're in the home stretch. And look, we can mosey along across the finish line tonight.
We can.
Crazy talk.
You know, I mentioned earlier that, I updated twigradio.com.
Right.
How can folks find us out there on the net?
Funny you should ask. Now, we strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio, and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
Well, if you missed any part of tonight's show or you want to catch your favorite part again, you can always find us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on iTunes, YouTube, the iHeartRadio app, and at WRNO.com.
And a plethora of other venues. And Alexa.
Oh, yeah. The Amazon Echo.
Yeah.
You can tell her to play us on the iHeartRadio app.
Alexa, get off your ass. Play me something.
Yep.
So, all right, you ready to do this Week in Geek History?
Yes, sir.
This Week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future!
Yes! Oh my God!
This Week in Geek History is brought to you by Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, read by Brian Held. Available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. This Week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
Da-na-na, da-na-na. Wow.
All right, first item on my list is November 7th, 2003. Debuting on Cartoon Network and set in the time period between episodes 2 and 3, it's the animated series Star Wars, The Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Is Rebels?
Is it still on?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're still airing there, but I mean,
I'm so far behind.
Though. I know.
Yeah. There's
I don't know.
Too much stuff to keep up with, Dave.
Well, no, they had to end it because it's getting too close to the movies,
right?
So they just as opposed to just focusing on that, they want to focus on the movies because Disney's busy strong arming all these little small movie theaters. They get 65% 70% if you're a bad movie goer or movie shower.
Yes.
Shower.
All right.
What's next?
Next on my list is also on the 7th of November in 1997. You can try to guess this one. It's going to be super easy.
Okay.
Directed by Paul Verhoeven and starring
Starship Troopers.
Casper Van Dien, Denise Richards, Jake Busey, and Neil Patrick Harris.
Did Verhoeven direct anything else besides that?
Yeah, shoot. Now I'm going to have to look it up.
Well, dag nabbit.
No, he did some stuff that I actually liked.
What?
Yeah. I'm really put out about, and we've mentioned this before, but he did not like Robert Heinlein at all.
Oh, yeah, right. I mean, that's why the movie was what it was.
Right, exactly. But I mean, he didn't even read the book.
That is so messed up.
It
man.
is. You know,
the cartoon series was a hell of a lot better than the actual movie. I mean, the movie was pretty awesome for what it was, but at least they in the cartoon series they had the skinnies and they had all
right.
the jumping.
So he did RoboCop.
Get the bleep out of here.
Yeah. Basic Instinct. Total Recall.
What?
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to take back everything bad I said about him now.
Yeah, no, he's got some good stuff out there. It's just he didn't like Mr. Heinlein at all. Thought he was a
Well, I'd buy that for $1.
Fascist pig. So, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So, all right, next on my list, November 8th, 1991. The very first Turing test is held at the Boston Computer Museum. Do you know what the Turing test is?
Yeah, totally. Remind me?
Alan Turing, who was a computer programming expert back in the 40s, I believe, came up with a test to determine if a computer could think.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and there was, when he came out with that idea, scientists and very smart people speculated about it for like 40 years before these guys came in and said, hey, let's actually start doing the test, right?
Right.
And
he broke the code.
Right, with the Nazis?
Yes.
Yeah. They set up a test with 6 computers and 2 humans.
Okay.
And it was via modem, right? And basically...
Shall we play a game?
Right. And basically, the people who were administering the test had to figure out, is it a computer or a human type deal.
Oh, wow.
So...
We should do that one time.
What, the Turing test?
Yeah, like on the air.
Because
I think you're part computer. I think we'll find out. We'll get some answers, damn it. Tonight on The Week in Geek, is Brian half man, half computer? You be the judge.
That music is so ridiculous, David. All right.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on. November 9th, 2004. Cease the release.
Come on, get it together.
I know. Of Firefox 1.0. It became the second most widely used web browser. Do you use Firefox?
I used Firefox for a hot minute.
Yeah. I used it for a while. It was pretty cool, but I'm totally down with Chrome now.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody uses friggin' Internet Explorer anymore. I mean, it's a travesty of internets.
An absolute train wreck.
Yeah.
So...
Internet Explorer! Do we need it or not? Ask Brian Held, half man, half computer. You be the judge.
Are we going to get this the rest of the segment?
No! Screw this segment.
Oh, jeez.
What's that?
November 10th, 1951. Direct dial coast-to-coast telephone service begins in the United States. There was a trial run of this long-distance customer dialing in New Jersey. It was first on there. So before, when you wanted to make a long-distance call, you actually had to have an operator connect you.
Yeah, right.
And this is the first time that, and they had to add 3 digits to the number. That's where we get area codes from, yeah.
Ah, cool. I didn't know that.
If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try.
Shut up!
Right.
Next.
Let's see. Last thing on my list is November 12th, 1933. Hugh Gray captures what he claims to be the first known photo of the Loch Ness Monster.
Get out.
Yes, and after the picture was taken, the monster demanded about $3.50.
Oh, my God! God! Ah! Jesus, why?
You ready?
Tonight, Brian tries to be cool. Is he really still a machine or a man? You decide.
Are you ready for birthdays?
God, yes. Let's end the show,
all
too.
right.
For the love of Christ.
On the 6th, Emma Stone.
Oh, yeah.
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 On the 8th, Daniel Middleton.
Who's that?
He
ain't no Emma Stone.
Your son, DJ, knows this guy because he has the Diamond Mine Cart on YouTube. He does the Let's Plays and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Big YouTube star. On the 9th, Lou Ferrigno.
Yay, the Hulk.
Yeah. On the 10th, Neil Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman. All right, cool.
Yes. On the 11th, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leo.
And on the 12th, Anne Hathaway.
Call me.
And that's all my birthdays, Dave.
Well, good. That's good. All right, let's get rid of the Hulk theme right there. All right, Brian, where the hell are we going? We're going to Memphis.
Yes, Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention next weekend. We're going to be there all weekend hanging out. We've got some audio to set up for next week's show, too. So I don't have the guests solidified yet. But yeah, but we're going to be having a good time out there, getting in all kind of trouble as we usually do. And
absolutely, I'll start cursing at random people.
Yeah, like you always do. And we'll have, of course, prizes from our sponsors over at GameStop and ThinkGeek.com. So stop by and see us.
All right, guys. Till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
Your new home for Walton and Johnson. News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM, New Orleans, an iHeart radio station.